Hi, my name is Lena George for Poppy and Seed, and today we're going to be tapping on shifting our definitions of love. Sounds kind of complicated, but what we're really doing is shifting out of our cultural definitions of love, that love is something somehow that we should reserve and kind of hoard for just a couple of people throughout our life, maybe a handful of people, and shifting instead to our body's definition of love. And to our body, there's no distinction between the love that we share with our children, our spouses, our family, and the love that we can share with someone that we walk by on the street. To the body, it's all about these micro moments of connection. And all that takes is a little bit of eye contact and a little bit of perhaps conversation. Something simple. Love isn't something that we feel and hold on to. It's something that actually benefits our body, our mind. It's as vital to us as vitamin C. So we'll kind of play with that a little bit as we tap and start to look at going from this idea of waiting for love, or perhaps even being a little afraid of love, and instead bringing it into our daily lives. So for a moment, you can close your eyes or, again, lower your gaze to just minimize those visual distractions. And just take a couple deep breaths while you're there. And as always, we'll just set a little intention for our practice today. Something as simple as just how you'd like to feel at the end of this video. And then begin tuning in to your feeling of how much love there is in your life, to a feeling of how you feel on a scale of 1 to 10 about how in love with life you are. Regardless of who's in your life, regardless if there's a spouse, a partner, family, how in love are you with life on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being, I am completely in love with life. I feel fulfilled. I feel that lovely romance and presence of love, of being in love every single day. And 0 being, of course, not so much. Maybe just feel like you're waiting for love, for a man, a woman, a partner, so that you can feel that feeling. Maybe that 0 is actually not wanting to feel any of those things. That vulnerability perhaps feels a little overwhelming sometimes. So just notice where you are on that scale. Give yourself a number. And if you can't get a number, you can always low, medium, high it. And as you think about it, really tune in perhaps to any things that are obstacles to you and feeling that you're in love with life. And as I tap, know that my words, as we tap together, know that my words are simply just a suggestion for you. They're a little framework for you to work from. The most important thing for you is to tune into how you're feeling and give that a voice. You can modify my words however you'd like to make it just right for you. You can pause the video and come back. You can do it however you'd like. Just tuning in and getting connected to your definitions of love, to any obstacles to love. And whenever it feels right, you can open your eyes and we'll start at the setup statement. Repeating after me as always. So even though I've been operating from this cultural definition of love, and it really limits me. I don't get to be in love unless I have a partner. But I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. So even though this cultural definition of love leaves me feeling powerless, I don't want to be only in love when there's someone in my life. But I don't know how to do anything about it. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. So even though I'm not sure what it feels like to be in love without another person, and I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I just want to wait for someone. But I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. Good, and shake it out for a moment. We'll come back up to the tapping points. My definitions of love definitely leave me at the whims of those around me. These cultural definitions of love make it so that I have to wait for another person to feel love. I have to wait for my family to be loving to feel loved by them. I have to wait for my partner to be loving to feel loved by them. I have to wait for someone else to determine how I feel. And that's not very fun. And that's not very empowering. Makes me feel like it's not up to me how I feel. It's kind of like giving my power to those around me. I want to have a choice about that. I want to be in love with life and feel that lovely blush of being in love every day. And I know I can choose that. I don't know that I can choose that. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel in love without another person. That just doesn't really make sense to me yet. How do I feel in love without someone else loving me back? How am I supposed to dictate that loving feeling without another person? I don't see how that's possible. But it doesn't feel so good when I have to wait for someone to love me to feel loved. It doesn't feel so good that I have to wait and measure how much someone loves me to determine how loved I am. All that waiting makes me feel really insecure, makes me question my value, makes me wonder if there's something wrong with me when I'm waiting. Why am I not in a relationship comes up when I'm not. Is there something wrong with me? Is there something I'm doing wrong? Is it the way I look? Is it the way I sound? When I wait for someone else to tell me that I'm lovable, I feel unlovable. When I'm waiting for someone else to tell me how lovable I am, I question if I'll ever be loved. And that's not a really good feeling. And I'd really like that to change. I don't know what to do about it, but I'm really open to finding out. I'm really open to turning to that body's definition of love, my body's definition of love. Okay, and shake it out for a moment. You can close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths. And tune into that scale once again. Notice what your number's doing. And ideally that number's coming up towards that 10. Maybe it moved up one number, 2 numbers. There's no right or wrong way to do this tapping process. It's very individual. But you'll notice that your number will go and move much faster if you're tuned in and you're being authentic and honest with yourself. So notice, again, too, if your number isn't moving, notice what perhaps is blocking you. Maybe there's an emotion or an old relationship that popped up while we were tapping. Just notice what was triggered by that round of tapping. See if there's anything that you'd like to kind of isolate out. You can put it on its own scale. You can even write it down if you'd like. Perhaps an old relationship that blocks you from feeling like love is abundant or love is your choice. Being loved is your choice. And whenever it feels right, you can open your eyes and we'll come back to our tapping. And we're just going to keep moving through the setup statement. Okay. So even though I'm not sure how to change my old definitions of love, I don't know if I'm really ready to let go of that old definition. But I'm open to hearing more. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. So even though I'm not sure how to change my old definition of love, because I'm not sure if I want to. Love is really special, and I feel like I want it to be special and stay that way. But I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. So even though upgrading my definition of love sounds impossible, and I'm not sure I want to do it yet, I'm open to giving it a chance. I'm open to seeing what it's about. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. Shake it out for a moment and move right up to the tapping points. My body's definition of love. That sounds kind of interesting. I'm open to thinking about it. My body doesn't know the difference between love with a soulmate and loving connection with someone walking past me on the street. So maybe that's a better definition of love. Maybe my body has more wisdom. And maybe I'll listen to my body, which helps me give me that essential vitamin L, vitamin love. It sounds silly, but feels a little more empowering, actually. Having the choice of whether or not I feel loved feels empowering. So I'm going to choose how I'm loved each and every day, for myself and by myself. Noticing those opportunities for connection throughout my day. A passing conversation. Sharing a moment of positivity with a stranger. Provides me with that vitamin love. And I feel a lot better. I'm no longer willing to wait to feel loved. I'm no longer willing to let someone else dictate whether I'm lovable. I love myself, and I accept myself. And I'm open to feeling this love every day. It actually feels pretty good to be in love with life. I'm already in love. And that doesn't change no matter who's around me, no matter who I'm with. I'm already in love. I'm in love every day with life. Even in those challenging moments, even in those difficult situations, I choose to remember that I'm already in love. I'm always in love because I'm in love with life. And I find those opportunities throughout my day, every day, in those micro moments of connection with the people I come across, even those challenging people in my life. I find a way for positive connection, even if it's just in a nice hug. I receive love and I give love each and every day in these micro moments of connection. And that helps me feel, and that helps me stay in love with life. I'm in love every day. And shake it out. You can close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. And tune into that scale, or perhaps multiple scales in your mind. And notice what your number is doing. And again, ideally that number is coming up to the 10. And if it's not, you can pause the video, continue moving through this tapping session on your own with the mirror, looking into your own eyes, looking at perhaps any more obstacles that might still be there, things that I haven't touched upon. And otherwise, you can get as comfortable as you like, and we'll begin our meditation. So letting the body settle, you can stay seated or recline. And then letting the eyes close, if that feels comfortable for you, or you can simply lower your gaze, shutting out those other visual distractions. And just begin to bring your attention inward by focusing on your breath and your body. Notice where you notice your breath in your body, where you notice that rise and fall. And bringing the breath down into the belly to lengthen and deepen the breath. Again, you can place your hands on your belly if you haven't breathed in your belly very much, to really connect with that feeling, that soothing feeling of the rise and fall of your own breath. One of my favorite ways to teach belly breathing is how we teach it to children. We have them lie down and imagine they can place their stuffed animal on their belly. And then we have them imagine they're rocking that favorite stuffed animal to sleep with their breath. It's a wonderful way to fall asleep if you ever have trouble falling asleep. You can imagine it with your old favorite stuffed animal or your blankie. You can see how we can tap into the body to downshift the mind, to prepare for sleep or relaxation. And imagine bringing that feeling of the rising of the breath up the back of the body as you inhale, over the crown of the head, and down the front of the body as you exhale. Feeling that same rising and falling of the breath moving up the back of the body as you inhale, and falling down the front of the body as you exhale. A lovely, slow and deep breath. Each breath bringing you a little deeper within. To that quiet space. Connecting once again with your inner wisdom, your true self. Imagine each inhale up the back of the body and exhale down the front of the body. Each wave of the breath takes you deeper, connecting you further with your true self. A place where you have all the answers, all the wisdom. Each exhale clearing and releasing all that no longer benefits you. And each inhale connecting you even more deeply with your true self. And letting the breath return to the belly, feeling the rise and fall of the breath in the belly once again. Knowing that as your mind wanders and you notice it, you can always simply come back here to your breath in your belly, refocus, and begin again. And imagine now someone with whom you feel a strong, familiar, loving connection. This can be someone from your past, someone you've only imagined, can be a beloved pet or a spiritual connection. Anyone with whom you feel a strong, loving connection. And imagine connecting with that loved one now. Imagine them interacting with you, hearing their voice or the tones they make. Noticing their gestures. And notice how you feel in this loving connection, in this moment of love. Notice it across your posture, across your gestures and your facial expressions. Notice it across your thoughts and your emotions. Is that feeling of love centralized somewhere in the body? Or is it a pervasive feeling throughout the body, throughout your being? And imagine expanding that feeling of love throughout your body, out through your entire being. Perhaps allowing your breath to help you expand through that feeling. Sending it out, even out past your body, to create this lovely bubble of love and loving connection all around you, surrounded by this feeling of loving connection within you and around you. And if your mind wanders away from that feeling of loving connection, reconnect. Connect to that loved one once again and increase it out and around you, all throughout you once again. And now simply imagine the rest of your day, or perhaps tomorrow, having this awareness, feeling that loving connection all around you, and anytime you notice it drifting or you moving out of that space, reconnect with that loved one in your mind and hold that space of loving connection. Walking through your day tomorrow, perhaps imagining waking up, creating that loving space all around you. Imagining your interactions through the day. Imagine sharing this loving connection with those you meet, and even those you just simply walk past. Feeling the power and the freedom of that love. Feeling the gratitude for that feeling of love within you and around you. And in a moment, I will count up from 1 to 5. At 5, you can open your eyes, returning to the room, and returning with that intention that you said at the very beginning of the video. And first at 0, expanding that loving feeling out throughout the body and out around you once again. Perhaps even noticing if it has a color or a sparkle. Noticing your posture, your facial expression. And at 1, becoming a little more aware and alert, bringing with you that posture and that facial expression of feeling loved and loving. At 2, returning to the feeling of the breath in the body, bringing that rising of the breath up the back of the body as you inhale, and down the front of the body as you exhale. Coming back to the breath. Allowing yourself to savor this time in your day where all you have to do is take deep, long breaths. And at 3, becoming a little more aware and alert, bringing in your external awareness by becoming aware of the sounds around you, how you've placed yourself, and maintaining that internal connection, that internal awareness of how you're feeling as you bring in that external awareness. That's how we take this practice out into our daily lives, that balance between those awarenesses, our center. And at 4, you can bring movement back to the body, allowing yourself to move slowly and gently. You can stretch if that feels comfortable for you. And at 5, you can open your eyes whenever it feels right for you. And if you have any questions, you can read more about it at poppyandseed.com, or you can find me, Lena George, at the88percent.com.